He's lived a lifetime of rock and roll. And now Pink Floyd's former bassist and vocalist Roger Waters is on his way to New Zealand to showcase his first solo album in 25 years. Waters is a fearless and controversial artist who doesn't hold back on what he really thinks. This exclusive interview with Rebecca Wright.
Provocateur, troublemaker, agitator. Roger Waters is a musician with a desire to change the world. Right now, he's staring down one of the most divisive periods in modern American history. And we're along for the ride.
We do, tomorrow at 5. I'll try and make it fun, I promise.
And backstage at his concert in Chicago on his latest tour, Us and Them.
How much further is it?
I was following you.
And now it's time for the show. While he may be 73, you get the feeling that for Roger, this moment never gets old. Pink Floyd fans will immediately recognise the towering set, giant inflatable and laser prism, hallmarks of the Pink Floyd experience of 40 years ago. But where once there was Ronald Reagan and Margaret Thatcher, now he has a new arch-enemy.
What did you think when Donald Trump became the President of the United States of America?
Well, I was flabbergasted. I mean, you watched the thing happening and you thought, this car wreck or train wreck can't possibly happen. This is just not possible. And of course, it was possible. The political system in the United States is completely broken.
Did you know that he was a fan of yours? He came to your Madison Square Garden show back in 2010.
I've no idea. Frankly, I don't care either. It just shows how people become involved or listen to something without having the faintest idea of what it's about. It's everybody going, look, there's that effing moron Trump, you know. Oh my God, what a laugh he is. And he's still like, he still thinks he's cool. He's so dumb, he thinks he's cool. But you've got to forgive the guy. He's been elected President of the United States of America. So we're in a very funny situation where the lunatics have taken over the loony bin.
And so Waters is back to resist. Fired up and defiant at every show, he's sharing his anti-authority message with a new audience.
So go 7, 8, and then all of you together go, whoa, and rip it open. And so it's a one, choreographed move. All right, now come on.
Inviting 12 school children from underprivileged backgrounds to perform with him on that most iconic of songs, Another Brick in the Wall.
And you wave to them. And you can clap them if you want. You can say thank you to them. You can take a bow if you want. You know, if you want to do that, you can do that. Don't try and milk it, okay? We just do it. We do it.
We're doing a story about Roger Waters in New Zealand when he comes there. How was it performing with him on stage?
Awesome, fun.
Yeah. Did you know the wall before when you came on to perform it?
No, yes, a little bit.
And so what do you think about it now?
I like it a lot more.
Yeah.
What does it say to you?
Like that we actually need to get our teachers to actually teach us something and not just one point of view of history, but all points of view.
Something a little subversive about that. Yeah.
And teachers and parents be warned, this will happen on the New Zealand leg of his tour too. But for all of his anger and outrage, Waters is a deep thinker who changed the world with one of the most critically acclaimed and successful bands of all time. Pink Floyd's albums Dark Side of the Moon and The Wall were groundbreaking. And much of their distinctly dark vision came from Roger's inner musings.
With the gift of insight comes the burden of understanding. And it's so true. If you have an insight, then you have an absolute responsibility to follow up the insight and to endeavour to understand. I know intuitively that love and, that giving to others gets you more back than you give, and taking from others actually removes from you.
Yes, it's love driving his activism and protest.
If we're lucky enough to have parents that teach us to be humane and caring and loving, then that's hugely significant in our lives.
In particular, a love that he never knew.
My father was called up in 1939. He put his life on the line, you know, got a commission and was killed 10 minutes later.
Roger was only 5 months old. And that sense of love and loss is woven through his life's work. The Wall, a metaphor for his internal battle with abandonment and grief.
I imagine myself as a child, and me and the child agreeing with one another that our father would be proud of us. As an 8-year-old in tartan shirt and khaki shorts, who always thought that maybe if he did his best, his dad would come home.
It still clearly affects him now. That lifelong desire to make his father proud came crashing back during a random conversation with a fan.
There was this older guy. He kind of looked at me, and he didn't want anything signed or anything. But as I went to leave to go back on stage for the second half, he wouldn't let go of my hand, and I was sort of I got to go on stage, and then he looked at me like that, directly in the eyes, and he said, "Your father would be proud of you," and I just dissolved, you know. And I realised that how 60 years after, you know, or whatever, my father's death, how incredibly moved I was by a complete stranger saying that to me.
Another brick removed from his wall.
Oh, look, we're on candid camera.
And this rock and roll veteran is still on the road. Passing through the places he's performed before, he gets a chance to make it back to a few of the old haunts.
Oh, look, that's where we're going.
Like the snooker bar in Chicago.
This is the one.
Hanging out shooting pool with Dave from the band.
Ho, ho, ho!
Making the most of a day off
Thanks, mate. Nice one.
before heading to the next city. Waters' tour is taking him right across America.
Please welcome to the stage, Roger Waters.
Dropping in on the Newport Folk Festival for an unplugged set. You get the feeling he's soaking it all in and enjoying what could be his final tour. There will be one more performance for his Kiwi fans too. And memories from his last time here still resonate.
You know, New Zealand is such a beautiful country. They were very warm, and, you know, they obviously knew the work really well, and the place was full.
So if this is his encore tour, how does the man who's lived a lifetime of rock and roll feel looking back at it all?
This lifestyles must make family life difficult. Do you feel like you've paid a price at all for the fantastic success that you've had?
No, absolutely not. But, you know, family life is always difficult. Life is difficult. There's nothing easy about life, is there? You know, I could have been a farmer, you know, and it might be hard to talk to the children because I had to go and milk the cows. You know, things are difficult, whoever you are, whatever. Interpersonal relationships are not easy.
Roger Waters is certainly a man who has lived his life to the full.
Is this the life that you really want?
Yeah, I wouldn't change a lot about my life now. I'm lucky enough to have a job that I really enjoy, and I have sort of a fair amount of freedom to express myself and to do the work that I want to do. So I'm really, really lucky. All right. See you later.
I'll see you, yeah.
All right.
Enjoy the show.
Ciao. I thought that went well.
Roger Waters will tour here in January, performing in Auckland and Dunedin.